We can plant trees, but we don't make them grow.
In the very beginning, it was my grandpa's desire that he could contribute to Zion, to building Zion.
Very outgoing, friendly, strong convictions, a lot of friends. I used to walk down Main Street with him. We would never get very far before somebody would stop him.
So he quit his day job with the railroad and went to work full-time selling and drafting for the woodwork concern, which they called Salt Lake Cabinet and Fixture Company.
I think they moved a couple times. They were downtown, and they were on Richard Street.
They made quite a bit of sawdust and fell into disfavor with their next door neighbor.
Down just exactly south of Temple Square.
Some of the tenants would get upset because the sawdust would blow around in the neighborhood.
Heber J. Grant, President Grant, would walk down on his lunch hour or whenever he had time and was walking on the streets, and would just walk into the shop and say hi.
Like any business just starting out, it's sketchy, it can be tough, and tough to meet payroll, tough to keep jobs flowing in.
There just wasn't that much work around, and Grandpa's firm was a generalist firm. They did just about everything that was wood. If it stood still long enough, they could build it.
There were two predominant sources of work back then in the valley. One, taverns, bar counters, and then the other was church work and temples and wardhouses. Grandpa is said to have joked that in the early years, Fetzers had one foot in heaven and the other foot elsewhere.
During the war, of course, things were very lean.
We have photographs of our men building toboggans. We also did airplane propellers, and we do have a picture of one of those.
Propellers and toboggans and ammunition boxes. Casper went on a mission, and Percy and John ran the business. His two sons ran the business while he was absent.
Uncle John and my dad worked at the factory doing odd jobs as kids, of course, so they were very familiar with it.
Very tough times. There were recessions, real slow markets sometimes. We had a couple of lost years.
My father looked anywhere he could for work, started shipping interstate. We built stores back east and on the west coast.
Dad and Uncle John both were very good designers, very good with their hands.
Baby, be prepared to be surprised. It's all I know. The weight of the world and the hurt and the dirt can make you discern, but I heard.
When Uncle Percy was president, he was called on a mission to Berlin. It was at the height of the Cold War. They had very good business in the years that Percy was gone. And we feel it was not coincidence that it turned out to be like that.
Then about 81, when Dad and Lou were 67 and 70 something, Richard and I proposed that we make the change, and Richard became president for many years.
The company grew a lot during those years.
I loved going to work, and had a wonderful team of people.
Several temples, beautiful temples, and the kingpin of all the jobs was the conference center downtown.
Most noteworthy was the conference center.
It was a great challenge and a rewarding challenge because we were able to pull it off.
Paul probably has the finest eye for design of anybody I know, and I've met an awful lot of architects over the years.
We really enjoyed that experience because I went from almost no knowledge of building organs to building the biggest organ in the world.
Paul and I would often argue over a molding being 3 1/8 inches wide as opposed to 3 1/4 inches wide. It was really very interesting. You could change it 1/16 of an inch and say it looks much better like that. And you would never believe that the difference of an 1/8 of an inch or a 1/16 of an inch would actually make it look more beautiful to the eye. But Paul has that fine of an eye, and I'd draw it, and sure enough, we'd go, "You're right, it looks better."
President Hinckley had found a new use for the walnut tree that was in his yard. That came down to us in the back of a pickup truck in the form of a couple of walnut logs. I did this sketch, which was presented to President Hinckley. President Hinckley said, well, where are the beehives? And the architect said, well, President Hinckley, we don't have any beehives in this building. To which he replied, well, this would be a good place to start.
We have strived over the years to hire good people. We had a lot of people who stayed with us for many, many years.
We owe so much of our success to the outstanding employees that we had with us over the years. Very loyal, very skilled.
My name is Dennis Hardcastle. I've worked at Fetzer's since 1960. I've enjoyed it, and I think most people that work here have enjoyed it. Fetzer's has had a lot of quality non-family members working for the company that have contributed substantially to the success of the company.
From Brazil, from Guatemala, from Chile, from Russia, from Ukraine, from all over the place.
We believe in our employees. Our employees do a terrific job. That's why we're good. Fetzer's is awesome because we have awesome people.
Our men have a culture of improvement. There's a culture out there where they want to do better and they want to improve.
We've had a tradition of quality that has come to mean that the name Fetzer is synonymous with the highest quality.
The best job to date has just been the job we finished late last year at Alice Tully Hall at Lincoln Center in New York. It was extremely difficult, never been done before, and of course all of the surfaces are acoustical quality. And it was great to develop. I mean, everything about it was done for the first time. Everything fit perfect.
The future has never been brighter for us.
And over the period of 100 years, I think if you really had a complete history, you'd find that the company struggled like everybody else and continues to struggle.
And the wood we have, we're blessed to work with.
Casper founded it for a good reason. Fought all the battles.
I'm sure that he prayed hard about the company and worked hard to keep it afloat.